Yo, what up? Shout out to the gods and goddesses out there that are watching this. Just a short intro, hopefully. My name is Trevi, and I'm just going to share with you guys my microgreen organization in my home that entitles someone such as myself who lives in Canada where it is cold and there is snow on the ground for 6 months out of the year, the opportunity to grow fresh leafy greens in the comfort and controlled environment of my home, right? I don't have to support local grocery stores or get shit quality produce because I know these microgreens that I grow myself completely organically under the LED lights have up to 40% the nutrition than these fully grown mature microgreens that are sold in the stores have, right? And they take a fraction of the time, about 10 days on average to do so. So this also helps people who are handicapped, disabled, maybe unable to maneuver around a big garden in the soil and stuff. People that don't own houses or gardens such as myself, and maybe even people that live in uptown New York in apartments that only have access to a balcony, the opportunity to grow these microgreens as well, right? So there's not enough good things to say about this. It benefits absolutely everyone, so I want to encourage everyone and motivate you guys to get into microgreening as well. It's definitely the future of farming, but without further ado, here's my garden. And before I begin, I must give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Larry Hounce, I hope I said that right, at City Hydro Farming. He is the founder and godfather of microgreening in the first place. He's the one that started it all. I would also like to give a shout out to Epic Gardening and also John Kohler at growingyourgreens.com. These three guys have really helped me get inspired and obtain the knowledge that I have today about microgreening. So I'm going to leave their YouTube channels in the description, so please check them out because their knowledge is absolutely incredible. I hope one day I could even have half their knowledge and experience, so definitely check them out. Okay, so this is my setup. It's not the greatest ever, but this is what I do, and I eat pretty well every single day. So we'll just step into my room here. Very important you have a fan for circulation. I have some trays. This is where I water my microgreens. I got some soil. You can use soil, but you can also use coconut coir pads, which is a little cleaner, especially if you're going to be selling these professionally to chefs in the gourmet restaurant business. But me, I just cut them and eat them myself. I do this not for profit, just for feeding my own belly, right? So what I have here is 2 sets of 4 48-inch 4000K T8 32 watt LED lights, and this is enough to get nice results with my microgreens, right? As you can see, some of these are pretty much all ready to be harvested. I have them in all sorts of different stages. So that's the light from the top. And this works amazing for me. I can grow 6 flats of microgreens in each. The diameters, I believe, are 20 inches by 10. And that's just a look at that. It's a very cool operation. Very easy to grow, especially, if you're disabled or have a handicap. It's super easy to maneuver around here. So as long as I don't trip over my wires here, right? So, and I just have some microgreens still in germination mode here. These guys will be ready for the lights tomorrow. I just cover them with tinfoil wrap here. I only grow kale, organic kale. I get them from Mum Seeds, which is my local organic USDA certified seed retailer in the Saskatchewan, Canada area, right? And what I do to shake the seeds is I use this oregano shaker, and that distributes the seeds pretty well. You never really want to touch these seeds with your fingers because if your hands aren't clean, you are going to get moldy seeds, right? And that's the last thing you want. Okay, so step 1 of microgreening is definitely the sanitation. If you do not sanitize your trays or the seeds after you plant them, they will grow mold, and you do not want to do that. It is very disheartening, and it sucks to have to throw out your microgreens that you put so much time and love into, right? So all I'm going to do is spray my trays down. Looks like I'm getting a little low on peroxide. I'll need to add some more, but spray your trays down. And with these trays are just 10 by 20s, I believe. You can find them anywhere for about $2 a piece. I cut holes in them so that when they are in the vegetative state, you can bottom water, because if you spray the tops, they will grow mold as well. So make sure you cut holes in them. And then have another tray without holes that you can just place this in. And then now I can pour the soil in, and any leftover soil just sits at the bottom, and I can always add those in to more microgreens later on down the line. So now I'm just going to add soil, seed, and water. Okay, so I'm definitely a black sheep in the microgreen community, just because I use organic potting soil. All these other guys are using coconut coir pads, which is what you want to do if you're selling to executive chefs, right? These guys don't want any dirt or anything like that in their product. So understood, way cleaner. However, I do feel that a good organic potting soil is just a little more natural and has more nutrients in the soil. So I just like using soil, and it is also a lot more available for me in Canada as opposed to coconut coir pads, which I have yet to come across. Just make sure your soil is organic and OMRI listed. That's very important. Just some tools that I use. I have my spray bottle. I have a nice little seed shaker to get the seeds evenly distributed in the soil, because you do not want clumps or anything like that. The hydrogen peroxide for sanitation, obviously. I have a little knife to just kind of spread my soil nice and even. A fork for the corners, and to cut my little slots in the trays, I have a nice little knife. So firstly, we are going to spray the crap out of my soil. Not only does it kind of blow the soil around and even it out, it's going to help your seeds germinate, because they definitely need a lot of moisture in the opening germination stages. And once you lay your seeds down, they're just going to be kind of stuck in here like mud almost. They're not going to move around or anything like that if you have to move your trays, right? So definitely experiment and see what works best for you. This is just what works best for me in the soil. Again, if you are using coconut coir pads, it's going to be different. So now I'm just going to take my seeds here, and I don't want to put too much, because I found overseeding leads to mold issues, right? So just make sure you get them in the corner nice. I don't know if you can really see. I am using an iPhone, but that's kind of what you're looking for. You don't want anything too crazy. You don't want too many seeds in one area, like that might be too much. Just try and get a nice even distribution, right, for optimal chances of success. So now that once your seeds are down, I'm just going to switch this into my hydrogen peroxide. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them like a nice light mist, and then I will let them sit for a minute or two, and that should prevent any mold from getting on the seeds. If you see anything start to foam up, that means you have moldy seeds. Again, I use mums, and I always have top quality seeds. I've never had moldy seeds before, so I definitely highly recommend mum seeds. So now that the hydrogen peroxide has set, I'm just going to spray my seeds once again. Get them nice and wet so that they can germinate. Once I spray them for about 30 seconds at a time, I will cover them just with some tin foil, aluminum wraps. You can use whatever, just as long as they stay shielded and away from any kind of light exposure, or they will not germinate, right? So that's that. I will just take a sheet of foil, cover it up, and I will let it sit for about 24 hours. I will check on them, and I will add more water every 24 hours. So this is what your microgreens will look like after 2 to 3 days of germinating in darkness with watering every 24 hours. And so this is your microgreens at the end of the germination mode. Once they start pressing up and actually lifting your cover, that's basically telling you they want to be photosynthesized and they want to enter vegetative state. Vegetative state is where mold issues start to begin, so it's very important you water them accordingly. Usually these guys will be a little on the yellow side. The fact that these are a little green means that a little bit of light has come through, and that's okay. So if they're very, very yellow, that's fine, and if they are a little green, that's okay as well. Just make sure that there are no signs of mold or anything like that. People get mold very confused with root hairs. You can see the little spider web like type of things on the bottom. That is not mold. That is just root hairs, which is totally normal, totally fine. That is all root hairs. If you start getting little kind of cotton ball looking things at the bottom in the vegetative state, that is mold. My microgreens are nice and clean. I don't have any examples to show you. Even throughout all of this, no mold at all, and that just comes with experience and knowing exactly how much water they need. If you underwater or overwater, you will get mold. And once you get to 7 to 10 days, your microgreens are going to be nice and full like this. So this is just kale, the only thing I grow because kale is my favorite. They're absolutely beautiful. For audio purposes of this video, I shut off my fan temporarily. You always want to have a fan on to control your moisture and your humidity in the room. If your room is too humid or even too hot, you will get mold. The best temperature for your room is about 70 to 80 degrees. So the last aspect is the watering. And what I will do is bottom water. I will take filtered water, about a 2-liter glass jar, and I will fill about 1 liter per tray. I just water 2 flats at a time. I'll even them out like that, and then I will just take this tray and dip it in there. Once again, there are holes at the bottom of this tray which the greens are in. Right now they're sucking up all the water. I'll give them about 10 to 15 minutes. It'll be nice and dry. I will stick them under the light, and that's it. Do that every day with all of these microgreens, depending on the soil, moisture levels. It's hard to see, but this is actually nice and black and rich. This may not need water today, but I'll probably water them anyways. It's a judgment call. Just make sure you're not over or under watering, and you'll do just fine. So that is pretty much the whole process of microgreening. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and I will definitely answer them. Microgreens, you can cut them up after about 10 days. You can grow them as long as you want, really, but cut them. I'll store them in the fridge. They're really only good up to about a week. But I try and eat them fresh. I'll eat about 2 of those flats every single day. They really are delicious. They look good on plates. Guests are usually pretty blown away by your story and how you came up with them, right? Because this is actually pretty new to a lot of people. So it's a good practice to get into. Very healthy, very nutritious. A way you can save money and even make money instead of working, a bullshit 9-to-5 fast food job or whatever, right? At least you're doing something positive in the world, right? You're improving people's health. So with that, Thank you for watching. I really hope you got something out of this, and please like and subscribe to my channel and this video. Share this with friends, and let's get this train rolling. Let's educate people on microgreens and slowly change the world and our health. Peace.